We will finish up by looking at this weekend's Premier League fixture between Arsenal and Leeds United, first home game of the season. And believe it or not, it's been over 6 months since Arsenal won a Premier League home game by more than one goal. The last time they did was the 5-1 Man City result. Since then, it's just been one goal wins or no wins. So this is, of course, a Leeds side who will be buoyed by their win on Monday, but it's still a newly promoted Leeds side. You'd expect Arsenal would maybe not wipe the floor with them, but for example, does this just have to be a really dominant, 2 goal, 3 goal, 4 goal win for you?
I don't know if you could go into any Premier League game thinking it has to be that. It would be nice to be that. Absolutely. I'd like Arsenal to turn in a sort of performance we saw them produce against Athletic Club in the Emirates Cup a couple of weeks ago, which shows this team can absolutely play very, very well and score some really good goals. So, which is why I'm not overly concerned by what we saw at Old Trafford. By the way, so it'd be nice to go there and put on a show. I think the fans would love that. It's Saturday evening, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Everyone's going to be in town early. I'm going to be in town early, and everyone's going to be in a pretty boisterous mood, I imagine, by the time kickoff rolls around. It's always a good atmosphere when Leeds are in town as well. So it'd be great to put on a good show, to score some goals, just to get the season really up and running, I think. And then if you're sitting there with 6 points from six going up to Anfield next, you're feeling pretty good about yourselves. So it's an important game, this, for Arsenal, no doubt about it. And I think after what we saw at Old Trafford, I think performance-wise, everyone's going to be looking at Arsenal and saying, okay, what can you produce here against, like you said, a newly promoted side? Can you really put on a bit of a show, play some good football, get Gyokeres involved more? So I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on the performance at the weekend. And I do feel like Arsenal, I feel like Arsenal will produce, I have to say.
Yes, from an Arsenal fan's perspective, fingers crossed. And looking at the team news, so of course Arsenal's, as of the time of recording, it's only Gabriel Jesus who's out injured. Trossard's now back from his groin problem. You've already said that you expect or you hope that Gyökeres will keep his place over Kai Havertz. Can you see any alterations at all? Well, firstly, do you think Arteta will keep going with Gyökeres? Do you think maybe there could be some changes in the fullback areas? Calafiori most likely will start, but maybe Timber in for Ben White, or could Kai Havertz threaten? What sort of 11 or any changes you think will happen this weekend?
I think he'll keep the same 11, to be honest. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Like you said, all those names could come in easily. Havertz could easily be the striker. Timber could easily be right back. He could easily play Lewis Skelly. But I feel like he needs to keep the same team here. I don't feel like he has to be ripped up after one fairly underwhelming performance. You've got to give him a little bit more time. And I think Gyökeres is really important as well, that you give as much time as you possibly can for him on the pitch at the moment, just to get, as I said, get used to everyone and for him to get used to them. Last time at the Emirates, Arsenal played really well with that team, with that 11, scored 3 great goals. Gyökeres played well. He scored. They got him involved in the game a lot in that match against Athletic Club. So just stick with that team, I think. There's no need, unless there's an injury that we don't know about. And there's open training tomorrow at the Emirates, so we'll get a good look at who's around and who's not. But if injuries are fine and fitness is fine, then I'd be sticking with the same team, I have to say.